This podcast is not intended to provide any investment advice. The opinions expressed here by either the hosts or guests do not necessarily reflect the views of PSA, Collectors Holdings, or any of their affiliates. Any discussion of collectible values in the past or present is not a guarantee of future performance.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the PSA Pod. Ryan Greene and Jack Archer here in the studio, and we're off one of the best football weekends of the year, Super Wild Card Weekend. And obviously, all those games, the way they played out, there's hobby implications. That's the way we watch it, right, Jack? I mean,
1000%. Frankly, I'm still sick to my stomach thinking about that Chargers loss. But what's crazy about that is during the first half, Trevor Lawrence throwing interception after interception. The Chargers were up big. I didn't feel great about it because I want Trevor Lawrence to succeed in the hobby.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of not only Jaguar fans, but Trevor Lawrence collectors during that first half. It felt heartbreaking. And then he went full Targaryen and just crushed us. And I mean, there's a million reasons why the Chargers lost, but it was absolutely heartbreaking.
the same way you felt, I felt in the second half thinking about Justin Herbert as that's all happening because, you know, I watch football and I follow Twitter as my second screen. That's kind of how I always do it. And just like I was seeing people pile on Justin Herbert. And I'm like, guys, come on. Like Herbert played a pretty strong game. There's a lot. I mean, we're not going to talk about, you know, everything that happened in that game. That's not our place. We're talking hobby. And kind of as the dust settles from this weekend, how you look at guys' cards based on what happened. And we're going to bring back a segment we did a while ago that we really enjoyed. This is called Buy, Trade, Hold. So we're going to go through some names from Wild Card Weekend. And as collectors, you know, putting that hat on for each of these guys ourselves, would you be buying, trading, or holding their cards right now? And we're going to start with the guy we just talked about, Trevor Lawrence, because that's a name that is front of mind for a lot of collectors coming out of this weekend and this season in general.
Mad respect for Trevor Lawrence for starting the game as he did and to be mentally tough enough to do what he did in the second half. Big shout out to Trevor Lawrence. I've been eyeing his cards for a very long time. This probably won't be the catalyst for me, mostly because his stuff is high right now and it's only going to get higher, especially if he wins next week. But I'm not out on Trevor Lawrence by any means. I will be looking during the offseason for specific cards, specific buys. I will definitely be interested at the National coming up this summer. Right now, if I have Trevor Lawrence cards, the really rare stuff I'm holding, the sort of mid-tier lower-end stuff I'm probably trading. So that's where I'm at right now.
I'm a buy, but with an asterisk saying maybe in a month or so. I want to see what happens this weekend. If they lose at Kansas City, I think things could cool a little bit, but his market is so interesting right now for graded cards because the product's released so late into the season. A lot of his flagship cards didn't start rolling out until the beginning of his second season. I think it's really interesting. You know, one card I always eye for quarterbacks is kind of like a flagship place to hone in on is the Silver Prism rookie card. QC on Panini Prism last year made it a tough product to grade. We've graded 470 copies of that card so far. Only 36 PSA 10s. That's less than a 10% gem rate.
It's very similar to Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert in the 2020 class. But unlike them, Trevor Lawrence has a Prism Silver variation, which is a really, really nice card. It's pop 29, I believe. So he does sort of have two true silver, true prism rookie cards, unlike previous years.
I like what you said about looking around the time the National comes around, because that's, of course, when the football market really starts to heat up. The National happens that same week that training camps are opening and preseason's right around the corner. I texted you over the weekend. We were talking about it. I could very well see Trevor Lawrence being this year at the National what Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and to a degree Justin Herbert were last year.
Yeah, he's going to be everywhere at the National this summer.
Moving on, Brock Purdy. The train just keeps rolling here. He won't lose as a starting quarterback. And I probably sound like people that didn't quite fully believe in Tom Brady at the same stage of the 2001 NFL playoffs when he came in midseason as the the unknown starter. But I mean, where do you stand here?
This one could not be easier for me. It is a big, big, big trade.
Mm-hmm.
And it really has nothing to do with Brock Purdy's skill set or what he's been doing on the field, because I've been quite impressed by him. It just has to do simply with how the card market operates. Most of his best rookie cards, all of his best rookie cards are not available. So what do we have right now? We have a mosaic card where his leg is chopped off due to some poor Photoshop skills. That's pretty much all we got. And that card is going crazy. Base cards are going for like $60 plus on eBay, I've seen.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just limited supply pushing the prices up. And if there are people that are willing to buy it at this escalated price, I'm happy to trade with them.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if I'm looking to get into Brock Purdy cards, I'm going to be waiting for Optic. I'm going to be waiting for Prism, Flawless, National Treasures, Select, all that good stuff, and not a mid-tier card where he's missing half his leg.
I'm in the same boat as you. That's a trade for me. And really for the same reason. There isn't a ton of him to hold on to. I was kind of between a trade and hold, but you're right. I want to see those flagship products roll out more and more. I believe Donruss releases the week of the Super Bowl, which could be very interesting, especially if he wins 2 more games and gets San Francisco there. So yeah, that's a very unique one right there. Who he'll face next weekend in what I think is maybe the most intriguing matchup of the weekend, Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys. What do you think? I mean, we're recording right now. It's Tuesday morning. You know, last night was probably the statement game of his career in beating Tom Brady and the Bucs. How you feeling today, card wise?
He played fantastic last night. So shout out to Dak Prescott. I've just never been a giant fan of his game, and his hobby prices in relation to how many Cowboys fans there are out there never really seemed to match up. It was always quite confusing to me. You pair that with his Prism rookie being a relatively high pop. It's at 1,400. And that's mostly because his class, all rookies were Prism Silver.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is exactly. His cards have never really interested me. And it's definitely a trade where I'm coming from.
I kind of like it as a buy, you know, as a collector. I've mostly because I've always felt that Dak Prescott is a quarterback. No matter how you feel about the Cowboys, he's a guy who feels pretty easy to pull for. You know, kind of an underdog story coming into the NFL as a mid-round pick.
Extremely likable.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny what you were saying. It kind of reminds me of what we talked about recently with Tony Romo cards. Like the underdog quarterback for America's team. I know people hate hearing that, but I see some similarity there card-wise. I think it's a really interesting one because if you're looking to buy his cards, the prices are still relatively fair. The Prism rookie card you referenced per card ladder, that card in a PSA 10 can still be had around $250, which is not bad for a guy who potentially has a Super Bowl run in him right here. But, you know, again, there's frustrations that come with collecting Dak. Gets injured. You know, the performances have been inconsistent over the years. So I could see how this one can be very polarizing.
Yeah, definitely a trade for me as it stands right now. But I like Dak Prescott, and I'm rooting for him.
Yeah,
and I would love to see a good upset. But Brock Purdy could easily go 10-0,
exactly,
and win everything. So we'll see.
So this is the first time since 1997 that 3 teams from one division have reached the divisional round, and one of Dak Prescott's divisional foes, Daniel Jones, kind of still flying under the radar here somehow. Quarterback of the New York Giants, his rookie cards in that 2019 release where Kyler Murray was very much the headliner. The Giants are heading to Philly next week, who they've faced twice already. And Daniel Jones had the game of his life this weekend against the Minnesota Vikings. What do you think?
I'm a buy.
Yeah?
On Daniel Jones. I am a buy. So his cards going into the season were dirt cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Like nice, high-end Daniel Jones were going for like just a few $100s. Cards were his contemporaries were going for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, the exact same card. And I assume that his prices have been going up steadily this entire season. I was having lunch, watching some football with 2 of my buddies on Saturday, both just degenerate sports gamblers. And they were asking about Daniel Jones card prices. So I bring up my card ladder app and I'm going through everything. And I'm like, wait, his prices really haven't gone up all that much this entire year. And I start looking at some of his cards, And you can get like his Contenders Optics silver on-card autograph PSA 1010 for like under $500. And to me, for someone who plays in a market as big as New York, someone who's most likely going to get a contract extension
Yes.
and stay in New York, who plays for a really, really great coach that is building a phenomenal foundation. I think his cards are an absolute buy. I'm surprised they haven't jumped up in price. Maybe they will after the win, but to me, he is a buy 100%.
It's funny, we're kind of flip-flop between here and Dak because I look at Daniel Jones for me personally as a trade. I'm still very unsure of his hobby upside and ceiling. You know, the way he plays is really exciting. And like you said, the market factors in here. But I don't know. I'm just something there makes me think that if I had Daniel Jones cards right now would be when I'd be looking to go move him into something I really want to get.
Yeah, he dresses in a way that makes how Eli Manning dresses look like James Bond or something. Like he's very as average regular Joe as it can possibly get. So, but he plays in a way that is flashy. So it kind of counterbalances a little bit. I like Daniel Jones. He's a buy for me right now.
Well, those are the guys that won this weekend and are moving on, and there's still story to be written left in this month. Bonus though here, I want to take a look at a few players quickly who got knocked out this weekend, but are very much of hobby relevance and kind of what we're thinking on this front. So we mentioned him at the top of the show. You're a big collector of this guy, so I'm very curious, you know, how you're feeling right now because there's a lot of people listening who collect the guy as well, Justin Herbert. Where are you standing right now from a hobby standpoint after everything that happened this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the gut punch still hurts. And I wish I could just be this like ice cold collector that's just really, really savvy and trying to buy select Justin Herbert cards on the low. But his prices aren't even really dropping too much. There's a lot of collectors in on Justin Herbert. The prices are already pretty high, and I don't see them moving much. In fact, if Staley is fired and they bring in Sean Payne, I see his prices going up from where they are right now. So I don't necessarily know it's a great time. For me, I'm just holding my Justin Herbert cards. There's something I really, really want, such as his Prism Blue Ice at a 99 and a PSA 10 that pops up at an amazing price, and I can trade some things for it. I'll be looking. But otherwise, I'm just kind of holding tight. I really like my little Justin Herbert stash. I'm a huge fan of his game. And I think with the right coaching staff in there, we could see some really, really big things from him going forward. But as of right now, I'm just holding.
Totally agree. I think he feels like the ultimate hold right now. I don't think his hobby value is going to take a big hit here. You want to see what they do around him, especially in this shortening window of his rookie contract and how they're really going for it here early in his career. Career arc early very much reminds me of like young John Elway. He's really impressing. He's putting up the big numbers, but they got to get everything right around him before they really get over that hump. But I would feel very comfortable holding a bunch of Justin Herbert cards right now. Justin Jefferson. We've talked only quarterbacks so far. We got to throw a receiver in the mix here. And, you know, we've talked about collecting skill position players and that, you know, topic here on the show before. Justin Jefferson, arguably the best receiver in football. He had a rough day in the loss to the Giants at the tail end of really a historic season. How you feeling right now about Justin Jefferson cards?
Probably trading Justin Jefferson cards and probably trading them into like a Larry Fitzgerald or Calvin Johnson or Randy Moss. I just think wide receivers, it's a risky game. It always is. Look at like the collectability of AJ Green and DeAndre Hopkins. It's hard to have staying power. And as great of a talent as Justin Jefferson is, I'm probably trading right now. If I am going to trade into a modern wide receiver, though, I would just rather have Jamar Chase cards than Justin Jefferson cards. The charisma, the connection he has with Joe Burrow, just the Bengals uniform in general, everything about it just really sings for me. So for me, Justin Jefferson is a trade either into wide receiver goats or into Jamar Chase.
I like that. Same boat here. Going back to quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, the ultimate unknown going into this offseason. He didn't even play this weekend. He's been out for several weeks, but it's going to be a big topic of discussion these next several weeks and months going into next season. If you're either someone who has or has been looking at Lamar Jackson cards, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling weirdly confident despite how, I guess, unusual the last few weeks have been in terms of like him not even being on the sidelines, him being injured, him feeling like he has no interest in ever playing for the Baltimore Ravens again. But if he gets on the right team and everything like really, really sinks, like if he goes to the Jets,
Yeah.
and the Jets like just get supercharged beyond belief, his cards are going to go absolutely crazy. For me, it's just a hold. I don't like prospecting for those type of reasons, and
It's hard to do.
yeah, but nor would I want to be trading my stuff now if I had a Lamar Jackson stash. I mean, the man won an MVP already. He's unlike pretty much any quarterback we've ever seen before. So I think I'm hold right now.
I agree with you, and I think whether it's back with the Ravens or if he ends up, in a new uniform next year, he's going to be on a contending team because he makes just about anyone a contender, but especially if he walks into a ready-made contender like the Jets. Oh boy.
I'm wishing Tua the best in health possible. Really like the guy. Really enjoyed watching him play. But if Lamar Jackson went to the Dolphins with Waddle and Tyreek Hill, can you imagine?
The creativity of that play calling, with that coaching staff and everything.
It would be so much fun.
But you're right. You're prospecting with a very unknown situation here. So this is going to be a fun one to watch play out. And who knows, however it plays out, Lamar Jackson could be one of those really buzzy quarterback names come this summer and the National as well. We're going to finish with the GOAT, Tom Brady. He got knocked out last night by the Dallas Cowboys. Weird game. It was a rough season for the Buccaneers. They had trouble running the ball. Their offensive line was banged up. Brady had to do a lot of things that he probably shouldn't have to do at this point in terms of the volume of passing and all that. We obviously talk about his cards quite a bit here on this show because he's such a big figure in the hobby. He's popular with PSA submitters and collectors. Again, nobody knows what's going to happen these next couple months. So how you feeling right now with Brady cards?
There's only one right answer here when it comes to Tom Brady and buy, sell, trade, and it is buy. Always. It's always the right answer. He's the GOAT. It's probably a really fantastic time to buy his cards right now, and especially if he plays again next season and comes back. Because when these quarterbacks enter like the noodle arm stage, and granted, most of them, it's like when they're 35. For Tom Brady, it's like when he's like 45, which is impressive in its own right. You forget how great they really were in their prime. And we're seeing it a little bit with Aaron Rodgers. I think it's a phenomenal time to buy some Tom Brady cards because it's not like the sexiest card to have at this very moment, but long term, you just absolutely cannot go wrong with having an awesome stash of Tom Brady cards. I would definitely be looking. I had a bunch, traded a bunch at the National a couple years ago after the Bucs won the Super Bowl, and I've regretted it ever since. It's just a player that you cannot go wrong with, and a player that you are. It's a lot like Michael Jordan. If you have a player of this status in your collection, it's just the foundation feels right. It feels strong.
Agreed. That's a great way to put it. And you mentioned if he keeps playing, it's a good time to find his cards. And if he retires, it's still a good time to find his cards. You might even find better deals at that point. But this is a guy who is a guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer. It's going to be hard for anybody to supplant him as the GOAT at his position and in the game. And it's such an interesting mix because he has all of the cool ultra modern cards. He's got a lot of those cool, like early 2000s cards. There's the nostalgic tie-ins with some of the big moments around his career, him in the Patriots uniform from the dynasty years. I think just a fun player to collect too, no matter what happens.
All right. I have a question for you. The field is narrowed. Super Bowl pick and then Super Bowl winner. Who you got right now?
I mean, I have to stay true to my roots. I have to. But on this show before the season, I said Bills, Cowboys. And I don't know if I said a winner, but I would say the Bills. I think the Bills are winning it this year. I'm going to stick with it, even though the Cowboys road is really tough to get there.
I want you to come off as this football savant, but I have to troll you a little bit because you also said the Colts were going to be like a big player.
It's true. I thought
and Matt Ryan was going to be.
He was this
MVP,
year's Matt Stafford. Yeah. I'll own it. What about you?
I'm going Bengals over Niners.
Okay.
I have a really good feeling the Bengals are going to get there. Can they beat the Niners? I don't know because they look fantastic, but I sure would love to see that. I mean, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. It's just a really, really fun team. But I would also love to see Brock Purdy just win everything because that would be amazing. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see what the Niners do with their quarterback situation going forward from here. So nothing but good times for football fans ahead.
The Niners are the one team out there where I'm like, man, I just wouldn't want to face them right now. It's like the one team that just terrifies me, I think. And I think from a hobby standpoint, even though I want to see my prediction be right, and so I can call myself Nostradamus, sort of, I think it would be so interesting if the Niners win the Super Bowl just to watch Brock Purdy cards all summer and spring, because, you're going to have Optic, you're going to have Prism, you're going to have Select, National Treasures, Flawless, all rolling out while, let's say, he's on the heels of going, what would he be at that point? I believe 9-0, 10-0 as a starter and winning the Super Bowl. Watching the hobby just get injected with that would be so fun.
It's gonna be so much fun. I'm a tinge disappointed because I was looking forward to scooping up some nice Prism hobby boxes on the low and searching for some Garrett Wilson cards on the cheap. But now it's not going to happen.
No, he's totally ignited life into these 2022 products, which is good for the hobby. It stinks for our, buy low desires, but it's going to make for some fun hobby content over the next several months.
I just hope he has a great photo in some of his flagship cards. But if he doesn't, might be a good sign, because look at Brady card photos, look at Aaron Rodgers card photos. Sometimes when you just don't have a cool photo, that's the best thing possible for your future.
The practice
It's like the opposite of the Madden curse.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back, and we're going to be joined by PSA President Ryan Hoge, dropping by the studio once again. Going to talk about a lot. We got a little bit more conversation about PSA's pricing updates that we just rolled out, the development of us now imaging every card that is being graded and authenticated by PSA, talking about the launch of the Goldin Marketplace and more. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hey guys, it's Ryan. During this quick break in the show, I had to drop in a bit of business talk. So you've definitely heard us talk about it here before, but I just want to remind you that the beginning of 2023 is a great time to become a PSA Collectors Club member. 1-year membership to Collectors Club only continues to grow in value, and it costs just $99. With your membership, you get access to members-only grading prices. At any time, this includes our $19 per card value bulk grading service, but will also feature PSA grading specials throughout the year. You also get a 1-year subscription to PSA Magazine. If you've paid close attention over this past year, the PSA Mag has become must-see hobby material each month, and it has even become more of a collectible than ever before. Select months feature randomly inserted SP variant chase covers. If you follow us on social media at PSA Card, you definitely saw the incredible Michael Jordan base and variation covers with our January issue. And that is just the start for this year. And, of course, join or renew your membership now, and you will receive a $100 credit at Loop. It's an incredible platform for all collectors, bringing the buying and breaking of sports cards right to your fingertips with more ease than ever before. If you want more information on Collectors Club, or if I just sold you enough to get in now, visit psacard.com/join. All right, we're back, and we are excited to once again be joined here on the PSA Pod by PSA President Ryan Hoge. Ryan, thanks for stopping back by.
Awesome to be here again.
We love talking cards with you. So you're coming through. You're always dropping stuff off to get graded. Anything fun to report this week? Big pickups, big grading submissions? What's got you hyped this week?
Yeah, no, I was saying earlier when we were just kind of getting started, we should have been recording that. There was lots of good card talk during that impromptu segment. Yeah, no, I dropped off an order today that had a whole bunch of the Bowman Chrome stuff that I said last time. I had been opening a lot of that product, so that's always fun. Donruss Elite Ricky Henderson Legends. That is one of the last 2 remaining cards I need to complete that set registry. So excited to see how those turn out. Another fun one that just graded that I dropped off a while back was another one from my PC. So I grew up in Dallas. I'm a big Cowboys fan, and I was in middle school when the Cowboys were making their run of Super Bowl championships in the early 90s. And so I had a Troy Aikman 1999 Bowman Chrome, the gold refractored, numbered out of 25, that recently came back graded. It was an 8. So that was a pretty cool card that I had picked up raw a while ago and adding it to my really obscure Cowboys collection.
I was going to say, how long have you had that card?
Not super long. I probably bought it 3 years ago.
Okay.
It was an eBay pickup.
That was one of the gold refractors where it's very subtle, where just the script on the side.
Yeah, the script's in gold.
And,
yeah, you can tell by the serial numbering though on the back. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It's a fun card.
Yeah.
And I submitted a Tony Romo card.
What do you got? What do you got, a Romo?
It's a 2008 exquisite 1/1 gold script auto. In fact, I think I'm actually just doing auth on the card, but the auto is really nice. It's 1/1, so you can't complain.
I think Tony Romo stuff's pretty underappreciated
Yes.
and undervalued, especially because he's doing some incredible things in the booth right now. I love that. I love that pickup. I kind of wish I had a Tony Romo card in the PC.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I find myself, you know how we always talk about prospecting?
Yeah.
With modern players and current players now, I kind of find myself with guys who have really good personalities thinking like, is this guy someone who's going to remain in the public eye very much so in that capacity after his playing career? Because I think that enhances the appeal of their cards. Like Tony Romo is arguably the best color analyst in football today. And I feel like that adds another layer of appeal to his cards from his playing days.
Yeah, I mean, look at guys like Shaq and Barkley too on TNT. They're still out there. They're great personalities.
Keeps them relevant.
Yeah. No, totally.
Staying power.
Yeah, totally.
There's a really sweet Tony Romo card that I don't have. It's in the 2003 Bowman Chrome. There's a bunch of colored variations. I have a red and a blue. There's a gold version that I think it's numbered out of 50. Tough card, real tough card to find. They don't come up for sale that often.
He had a great SP Authentic auto rookie too.
Yeah,
where the autos did not hold up all that great over years. So
hard to find.
It's hard to find good ones. Yeah, very cool cards.
Yeah,
we can go down this rabbit hole all day.
Oh, I know. What else do we want to talk about?
So we actually had in the same seat you're sitting in. We had Darren Ravel here.
Yes,
this week.
I saw Darren. I saw Darren on Monday.
Yeah. And we had him here this week talking about tickets, and like Jack and I left that conversation saying we could have probably had that conversation for 4 or 5 hours.
I described it to a coworker as it's as if Darren had an entire museum in a shoebox and then rolled up. And
he brought all the stuff in here to show it off.
Yeah, he was laying it out on the table, full display.
How about the original Disneyland ticket?
And then the Disneyland ticket signed by Walt Disney.
Oh yeah,
on the back.
the Mark Twain thing.
Oh
yeah.
Goodness,
yeah.
like you know, it's sitting in front of us. He had the Shaq LSU student ID card, like. Just unbelievable.
It's crazy.
And it's kind of timely because, you know, we recently talked pricing with our new service level and pricing updates in 2023. Something that kind of went under the radar is that now we have a value service level offering for tickets and graded sealed packs.
Yes.
I want to talk about this a little bit more because I know we're all very excited about this because, you know, they're kind of smaller segments of the hobby right now that could have some real potential for growth.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the scheme of like the volume of items we grade, both of those are smaller, but you've got really passionate fan bases and collecting communities around each. You know, for the greater part of a year plus, the cheapest service level we had available for both tickets and packs was $50 economy. That really made it a little prohibitive for people that are collecting kind of the lower value items that they just maybe want to complete a run of something. And so, yeah, I was really excited to be able to offer up those service levels again. We've got the operational capacity and throughput to be able to handle it. And in fact, earlier last week, I went into one of the Facebook groups. It's a really passionate vintage pack group. And I kind of shared like 48 hours before the new prices took effect, I gave them a heads up that this was coming. And yeah, really good reaction. Lots of good comments about, you know, different packs if we have holders to accommodate different sizes and things like that. So yeah, it's an area I'm personally passionate about. I've got, you know, a relatively small collection of each, but like I've got my World Series ticket from the 1993 Blue Jays Phillies World Series game that I went to with my dad and my grandfather. Still have that ticket stub. And so I got that authenticated. I've got a Masters badge autographed by Jack Nicklaus from 1972, which I think was I think that was his fourth or fifth Masters title. I know his last was in 86, but that's a really cool display piece. And then on the pack front, I've got some unopened packs of my favorite childhood player, Will Clark. I've got an 87 Fleered and 87 Topps with Will Clark rookie showing on top. And then I've got some 80-81 Topps basketball packs that I had for a long time that I have graded and sealed as well as long. I think I have some 87 Fleer basketball. So relatively small. It's probably like less than 10 sealed packs, but it's fun. I have some sealed boxes too. We don't grade those yet.
The oversized case just displays really, really well. I'll tell you the pack that I'm after right now. 1996 Topps Chrome basketball, just first year Topps Chrome, GOAT rookie class, Kobe, Nash, Allen, everything. everything I love about the hobby is inside that pack. And I've seen a few in PSA 10 condition pop up elsewhere, and my eyes are on that. I need that in my collection.
And when we get them encapsulated, it gives a little extra level of restraint.
Yeah,
So you don't rip that thing.
Exactly.
So you don't open it.
I know someone who he actually graded like an entire hobby box of 2020 Topps Chrome F1, the first Topps Chrome F1 thing, has them displayed on his wall. And it really makes you not want to rip it. But if those were just sitting in a box, the box was sealed, you'd be tempted every
It's a
single
matter
day.
of time.
Yeah. No, totally.
It's something you really hit on there that I think is huge here. You mentioned previously it was $50 to start grading these. This is, as collectors continue to look for new avenues to take their collecting journey, this is a good way to have an entry point to grading tickets and packs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Dipping your toe in the water, $30 price point. It's very accessible. That includes items up to $499 in value. So it's a pretty large range there. Yeah, it's fun. And for people that aren't collecting that today, I'd encourage you to check it out. Like go do some research on our website at psacard.com, or go to eBay, go to Goldin, and look and see what some of these packs and really cool ticket stubs have sold for or available. You might find a new niche to start exploring and get excited about.
And it's not just like 1927 baseball games.
Yeah.
As great as that is to have a ticket to, authenticated by PSA, I've seen like movie tickets, modern movie tickets look incredible. I saw someone that had it's like a Travis Scott concert, had a die cut ticket that was authenticated by us, and it just looked incredible. And it captured a moment in culture that few things really can, and protected it, authenticated it. I just think there's a lot of room with all things tickets right now.
Yeah. And like you said, they display super well. Like they look awesome in the holders.
You can really, when Darren laid them all out on the table, it really hit me.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Well, Darren's collection is just off the chain. Like it's awesome.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Darren will set up at the National, have a booth, nothing for sale. It's literally like, come see my museum, come enjoy it all, and just show it off for the community. It's really cool.
I don't think I've seen a collection of cards here in this building in my year and a half working here, a collection of items where I'm picking things up and I'm just going, oh, wow. Like it was, I mean, there's been some wild vintage items that I've gotten to hold in my hand, but like, I felt like everything I was picking up, I was saying, oh, wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of credit goes to Darren. The curation, the creativity on display with his collection was really, really impressive. And it was almost inspiring to say, how can I take this level of creativity and apply it to cards and apply to other things I love and collect? It was really good stuff. Definitely check out that episode if you haven't yet.
Very inspiring collection.
Yeah. Oh, and now speaking of cool stuff, earlier this week, we had some amazing cards come through the grading room. So I don't even know if you guys saw it. There was an order. I can't remember how many cards it was, but it was from a really obscure issue of 1961 Topps, the Dice Game.
The Mickey Mantle.
There was a Mickey
Mantle. I heard about
this.
I haven't seen it yet.
I believe that's the second mantle we've ever graded. This is now the highest graded one. It was a 2.5. I think the previous one's a 1. Really, really rare set that you just don't see. And our director of grading's eyes were so wide when these came into the room. He had not seen one come through the grading room in his time here, and he's been here for 26.
Takes a lot
years.
to make his eyes go wide.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was one of those moments where I was like, oh my gosh, amazing.
You will be seeing that at PSA Card on social media. I have not seen the image yet, but I've been flagged and I know what I know of the items, but I just heard yesterday about the rarity and it kind of blew my mind.
I saw it this morning. It's the real deal. It's really, really, really cool.
Can't wait.
We'll peek when we get done recording this all.
Okay.
I'll enjoy with you.
All right.
Ryan, I have a request now that you're president of PSA, like a bat signal, you hit a button and then Ryan and I can come run over to the operation.
Go see the stuff.
Whenever you have something cool like that.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about seeing the image of this. I do want to talk a little bit about imaging. We talked about it a little bit last time you were here, how we are now imaging every card that comes through PSA in 2023. And the feedback on this has been excellent. And two things that I kind of want to talk about that people have really hit on. One is on the set registry side. It eases that pain point of if you have a card that was graded at a lower service level that maybe didn't have images previously, and you had to take your own images, upload them, very manual process, no more.
Right.
So
automatically populate. It's amazing. You go to set registry, and instead of just seeing kind of a list table view of your cards and the pop numbers and certain numbers, all of a sudden you got images front and back.
also makes it easier for selling your cards.
It does. It does. I mean, look, everybody can take a photo with their camera phone when they have the slab, but not everybody can do it where there's not a reflection or the lighting conditions aren't great.
Struggle with it all the time.
Yeah. And so no, this makes it super simple. Like you mentioned, we're imaging front and back every card that we're processing now in 2023 at all service levels. They're available when you do Cert ID lookup. So if you are considering buying a card, a newer graded card, and we've been imaging for several years now, but it was originally only available at certain higher level services. You can go to psacard.com/cert, put in that cert number, and you can see the images. So there's like a safety and security measure where you can get a visual confirmation. Like you said, I think it streamlines the ability to list an item for sale. These are great high quality images that you can use if you're listing it on eBay or Goldin or any other marketplace. And then, like you said, I think for set registry users, it's much more fun when you can actually see the digital representation of your card, not just a description of it.
Display the full sets and actually have a visual representation of it. Very nice add-on.
Yep.
And this is just an added value to the grading and authentication services.
Yep. It's something we've been working hard to scale. It takes a lot of investment in machinery. We've done some automation. We've invested a lot in the software to make this possible. And then the people that operate the machines that are imaging experts to really make this great.
I do want to talk one last thing before we wrap up here. Another big unveil this week is the launch of the Goldin Marketplace.
Yes.
All PSA, Goldin, all under the Collectors family of brands. This is really notable because this is sort of the last step in creating that frictionless experience for collectors that we talked about when the Collectors Vault launched back in summer of 2022, to where customers now have the ability to grade cards of PSA, have them sent straight to the vault, and are able to list straight from the vault in the Goldin Marketplace with weekly auctions. Lots of options there. Incredible product launch.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited. And, in my previous role as chief product officer, I was very involved in the creation of this software, of this experience. And, the team's been working hard on this for 18 months. Like it's been a long road to build all of these capabilities, but you're right. It really rounds out that kind of vault offering and that customer promise of having a more seamless way of collecting, buying and selling. You can now submit cards to PSA. You can elect to have them automatically go to the vault. You've got images of everything. They show up in your vault account, and you can see that from a collection management perspective with just a couple of clicks. You can then say, hey, I want to put this up for auction. I want to put this up for fixed price. You can choose to optionally enable make an offer functionality to respond to offers from people willing to buy your thing. There's a new feature called Goldin Balance. So the funds that you receive from selling those items stays in the ecosystem. So it really makes it easy to redeploy that for additional purchases. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited for this to go out to customers and see what the reaction is.
It's going to be really incredible. And I know the security is important, the storage is important, but for me personally, just not having to deal with any of the logistics, from having to type in the full card title and the card number and the grade and all the different specs, having to go buy bubble mailers and deal with all the customer service things. It's almost as if like Goldin is like your personal assistant and just does all that stuff for you. It's so easy, so seamless. I was playing with it this morning. So impressive. I cannot wait for this to go live.
Yeah, it's definitely a new hassle-free way to buy and sell for collectors.
We all love having more options, and this is going to be a really good one.
Yeah, I think it's a great one. I think it's a great one. There's already really good places to buy and sell out there in the collecting community. I think there's definitely room for improvement. This is a great addition.
Well, can't wait to talk with you some more. Thanks for taking the time to join us on the show.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks again to Ryan for taking the time to join us again on the pod here. We love talking collecting with Ryan.
It's always a pleasure when Ryan swings by the studio.
We talked about the Goldin Marketplace launching this week, and I know I spent some time already perusing through there, both in the Buy It Now marketplace, the weekly auctions, which just launched with bidding starting at $5 on items. There's some good stuff to find in here.
There's a lot of stuff to find in here. I've been having so much fun just going through everything, adding things to my watch list. Very hyped for this. It's just going to make collecting so much more streamlined, so much easier. I'm pumped.
Once again, go to goldin.co to check out the weekly auctions that are live now. Check out the marketplace. Go to goldin.co/about to learn about the entire frictionless process that is now available. You can grade with PSA, send straight to the vault. You can store your cards in the vault. And if you want, you can take them from the vault. You can list them for sale in the weekly auctions in the marketplace. It's just such an easy experience, such a smooth experience that's available to all collectors now. So goldin.co/about is where to learn everything you need to know about that.
Any cards in your watch list already?
There's definitely some, I don't want to tip my cap too much, but I've already started hunting my off-season football buying for players who are out of the playoffs and already on vacation in Cancun. There's definitely going to be some good buys in here. I'm seeing a couple cards where I'm like, this is the great time to be buying this card.
What's so fantastic about what Goldin is doing is that it's not only cards. There's like some really cool memorabilia.
Oh,
like
yeah.
like a Derek Jeter game ready signed bat. Like
That-
how cool is that?
Oh, yeah.
And have it side by side next to some Grail cards is pretty neat. I've got a couple on my watch list. There's a 2013 Topps 5-star patch auto, Aaron Rodgers. Just a really nice looking card. It's got this like seafoam green background with the green Packers jersey. Just looks great. Blue Wave, Justin Herbert, Prism, PSA 10 at a 199. It's a card I once owned in a PSA 10 grade. Had to trade it for that big trade I had at the National. And the other one I'm really looking at is the 1997 Allen Iverson Fleer Ultra Gold Medallion.
Ooh.
Pop 2 in a PSA 10 grade. Such a cool card. The photo, everything about it is just perfection.
There, like Jack said, there is so much to comb through here, and you're going to find some stuff you're looking for. You're going to find some stuff that you want that maybe you weren't looking for yet. Goldin.co. Check out the marketplace. Check out the weekly auctions. So much to take in. Maybe in an episode coming up in these next couple of weeks, we can talk about what we bought out of these first auctions, because just hearing the way you're talking, knowing the way I think, we're probably both going to be spending some money here in the next couple of weeks.
Is there ever a couple of weeks that go by that you don't spend money on the hobby though? Let's be honest.
Absolutely not.
It's one of the great things about this is that it never stops. You're just like always hunting, always looking,
Exactly.
always acquiring, always trading, always building. It's part of the game.
The hobby has no off season. Well, for Jack Archer, I'm Ryan Greene. Thank you for tuning in again this week on the PSA Pod. We will talk to you next week.